That's easy for you to say.
It is. Why don't you introduce us?
Well, welcome back. Good morning, Coffee. I'm Mark Cook, and that is Charlene Chamberlain.
Who can't speak this morning.
And we're rolling right along. I mean, it's been such a fun morning so far. We've talked about fashion, we've talked about food. And now we're going to talk about your health and medicine.
That's right. And we're here with Ed Aldebar, and he is the owner of medsNmore Pharmacy. And boy, do I have some questions for you. Welcome to Morning Coffee.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Thanks for being here. So,
Yeah.
medsNmore Pharmacy is right on Route 70 in Marlton.
Yes.
So you're nice and easy to find. And the thing I like about medsNmore Pharmacy is that you're not one of the big guys. You are personal. You are in the community. You are a local pharmacy, which is rare in our current economic situation. So
Very true.
tell us, Ed, why did you want to get into this? Why is this your life's passion and mission and all that stuff?
So let me start by that. Before I moved to the United States, I'm originally from Egypt. So before we moved to the United States, we owned a pharmacy in Egypt.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and it's a community pharmacy where you know the people who's coming in, you know them by name,
Right.
you
know what's wrong
their
with them.
families,
Yeah.
what's wrong, and they talk to you, you communicate, and this is how I grew up.
Right.
So when we moved here, I started working with one of the chains, to tell you the truth, and I was expecting to have the same experience, but unfortunately it wasn't.
Yeah.
So you feel like, oh, I need to talk to my patients, I need to know them, but the volumes of prescription being filled, the rush or the pressure from corporate to get things done really quickly because of the bottom line and so on and so forth, I couldn't continue doing that.
So there was a major disconnect then from your patients or clients to what you were actually, the service you were providing.
Very true, very true. And you know, it makes a difference when you're walking the street and you meet one of your patients and, this is my pharmacist.
Yes.
You know, this connection, you know them, they know you, and it makes life easier for the patient.
Well, especially you also know what their medical conditions are and what you've been offering them.
Very true. And
Yeah.
you know, like it's easier to when your patient has all his prescription at your pharmacy and you know them. It's easier to know, oh, you cannot take that. Oh, I can help you with this. This is too expensive. Can you help me with something
Or there's
alternative?
something
And
else
things.
that's better than
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
I've been very lucky in my life. I haven't needed a lot of ongoing medicine. You know, I've gotten sick like everybody else and I've needed to go, but I can tell you that every time I've gone to my store, my store, which isn't local, it's a chain, there's been a different pharmacist.
Yes, that is so
And
true.
I don't feel comfortable really asking that person very many questions. They try to make you feel comfortable. They try to tell the next patient to wait, further back so that there's more confidence or whatever, but I don't. I grab that bag and I go and I try to read as best I can about the medicine, and then I go from there. And what you've done is create that community pharmacy that's almost reminiscent of back in the day before these big guys moved in. So you're able to give your community the local touch and the local person and the personal
go-to guy.
interaction
Yeah.
that lends to the comfort for the patient, but also lends to a better level of care.
Oh, by far. Like, a couple of things happened. I'll just mention a couple of examples. We had a patient, one of our regular patients. He had to be admitted for a procedure, heart procedure. And when he's being released, he's given a blood thinner. And this blood thinner was dispensed by a specific chain because they have an agreement with the hospital. So he received the medication while he was being released. He did not see the pharmacist. He was not consulted by the pharmacist on what to take and what not to take with this medication. And it happened that in a day or two he stopped by my pharmacy and we were talking how about the procedure, how are you doing, and so on and so on. I know him. He's like, there is a connection. There is a regular connection. And I asked him, hey, have you been warned not to take over-the-counter pain relievers like Advil or ibuprofen, aspirin, and so on? He said, no. Why? That you're being put on a blood thinner, and you're not warned not to take these items. He said, no, let me check. And he called his wife, and surprisingly, he was actually taking the Advil
Right.
at the same
Right.
time. So I told him, no, you should not. And this is where you find, being in a mega store or something like a chain pharmacy, the pharmacist, I don't blame the pharmacist,
Right.
in all honesty, but the way the business model is being set, they have to be rushing, sending out
Yes.
prescriptions, not taking the time with the
Right.
patient,
Mhm.
and today they're here, next day they're in another store, so there is, as you said, there is no the personal connection, there's no the
No.
actual care that they can provide,
really.
it's the business model. So
Well, I mean, in that situation, I can guarantee what happened was he was handed a bag of his medication
Yes.
and
Yes.
sent on his way.
very
Right.
true.
There was
Very
no
true.
conversation about what he was given.
And,
There was
and as I mentioned, sometimes you're too ill or out of it to even read that pamphlet, and sometimes you don't even understand what it says.
right.
And then they make you sign off at the desk, you know, when you get your medication from the pharmacy, that you've read everything and you understand everything.
And most people are signing whether they did or
They just
not.
want to get out of the store and go
Right.
home.
Because they're already spending too much time
Right.
waiting for their prescription.
Right.
Which is another thing. You go in, you need your prescription right away. You don't need to walk through every single aisle
Mhm.
waiting
And-
for the prescription,
Mhm.
and you're sick. You want to go
Right.
home. And but again, it's a lot of factors that really affect the care that can be provided by chains, pharmacies. At the local pharmacy, like our pharmacy, there is this, oh, you're sick? Okay, I'll take care of you.
Well, you know, many times I will go to my pharmacist, and he's a local pharmacist, community pharmacist like you. I will go to him first before I go to my doctor and say, you know what, I have this mosquito bite, or I have this cut, or I have this. What would you suggest I do before I go to the doctor's? And he's sort of like my pre-doctor visit.
Yeah.
And most of the time, I get something that's going to fix or help alleviate whatever it is I'm suffering from, and I don't have to go
Without
to
the doctor's appointment.
Yeah, without the
Right.
doctor's appointment and drugs.
Yeah. Well,
And that only
So-
happens if you trust your pharmacist and you
Exactly.
know him
Yeah.
with a comfort that you can talk to him about things like that. It's a unique situation. I think you mentioned something and you didn't even realize what you were saying. That this patient of yours, he kind of turned into your friend.
Yeah,
He became
sure.
somebody that trusted you, and that it was a personal relationship that then you were able to help him with the medical side of
But he
things,
also
which is a
saw-
really nice combination.
But Ed, you also stopped a potential disaster for
Life-threatening
him
disaster,
health-wise.
right.
Yeah.
You know, which
Yes,
is pretty amazing.
And it's if I tell you this is like happens so frequent, like you would find a patient coming with a prescription for an or non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug, and like again naproxen, whatever,
Mhm.
and he's taking warfarin or Coumadin,
Right.
and
No, you
you
can't
cannot
do
take
that.
that,
Right.
and he's coming with a prescription,
Right.
and he's wondering why, and literally before I even put it on the system, I see the prescription. Oh, you cannot take it. And the patient is like, why can't I? The doctor prescribed. Well, there's a drug-drug interaction.
Mhm.
There is a possibility that you hurt yourself more than benefit yourself. So
Well,
Right.
why aren't the doctors stating this, though, before the patients are given the medication? Why aren't they finding that out? I don't understand that.
well, to tell you honestly, you cannot. It's not that not to blame the doctors, but
No, I'm not,
sometimes
but-
there's a primary care physician or there's a nurse practitioner that's taking care of the prescription,
Mhm.
responding to the complaint of the patient.
Right.
Sometimes, well, and a lot of times, doctor consider the pharmacist as their safety net. You know,
Right.
if he
Right.
misses
If I
That's-
make a mistake, he'll catch it.
That's
Big
pretty
catch, which
scary
is-
when you think of the
Yeah.
bigger chain.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, by far, very
Very
true,
scary.
very true. Especially with like as I said, I worked in a chain for some time.
You know. Yeah.
And with the help being taken out from the pharmacist,
Mhm.
increasing the hours for your tech, and so on and so forth, it's making you more and more prone to make mistakes.
Mhm.
Like, it's really a risky situation. I don't see it going in the right direction.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. We need to take a quick break, but I want to urge everybody to go down to medsNmore Pharmacy on Route 70 in Marlton and talk to Ed. You can see how easy he is
He
to
is,
talk
great
to.
guy.
If you have any questions about any medicines you're taking or prescriptions or whatever, go to medsNmore and talk to Ed. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I want to talk to Ed a little bit more about his pharmacy versus the big boxes and all that.
Simply Gents, located in Marlton, New Jersey, takes care of all your grooming needs, including haircuts, straight razor shaves, massages, facials, manicures, pedicures, and waxing. To find more information or book an appointment, visit us online at www.simplygents.com. The secret weapon of a well-groomed man, Simply Gents.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to give a sub some sizzle, this is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show was brought to you by Alicia Kelly of White Horse RV Center in Williamstown, New Jersey. Alicia is your RV expert. Contact Alicia at whitehorserv.com or give her a call at 856-262-1717, extension 203. When you think of RV, think Alicia Kelly.
I got this
Let me
one. Come
talk.
on now. I heard you take that breath, getting ready
You
to
did.
bring us back. We probably should have mentioned that before we went back on, right?
Well,
Who was
that's
going to bring us
okay.
back?
I trust you.
It's all
fine.
good. I'm Mark Cook. That's Charlene Chamberlain. And we're talking to Ed, who's the owner of medsNmore Pharmacy in Marlton. Ed, we talked a little bit about it in the first segment, but how are you able to survive in a economic landscape that has put up 4 or 5 really big stores on every corner? How are you able to
Compete.
be as successful as you are in competing with them?
It's tough, but there is a basic fact that unfortunately the chains are not saying it. Whatever you're paying to the chain, you will be paying at the independent pharmacy. What I mean is your co-pays and all of that is not based on our pricing. It's based on your insurance. So whatever you will pay at the independent store, you're not paying more.
It's the same.
It's the same, if not less.
And that's a
It-
misconception.
It's a
certainly
misconception
is.
that's being pushed
Yeah.
through the advertising of the big chains that, oh, you will pay less. Oh, guess what? When you step into medsNmore Pharmacy, you will be paying the same, if not less. I had a patient, actually she's a new patient that she's considering to move to us. Her prescription, she stepped in yesterday. She was at one of the chains, and her copay was up to almost $28. When she stepped in, we ran a claim test for her to let her know before she moves her prescription. Her copay was 0 copay.
That's a
Because,
big savings.
yeah, because we
Yeah.
are a preferred chain.
That is a big savings,
Yeah.
Charlie.
Think about it.
$28 to 0?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think
So,
about it.
and
Think
this
about
is
it.
and this is what people do not know. Like they think that it is, if you go to a smaller store, you will pay more. No, you won't.
Well, and I think that if you have a little bit of business sense, you can understand that, because medsNmore Pharmacy doesn't carry all sorts of other stuff that those places do carry.
Right.
So their overhead goes way up.
Yes.
And when that happens, the prices of everything else in the store goes up, because you're paying for more employees, you're paying to keep the lights on, you're paying to keep the place
Yeah.
heated
For
and
product.
cooled and all of that stuff. So when you take all of that out of the situation, you're left with medsNmore Pharmacy,
Yes.
who has what you need
Yeah,
with a personal touch
very true.
at a good price.
And you're probably not waiting an hour or 2 for your prescription.
Oh no,
Right?
no, you're not. Like we have a very limited wait time, based on. I'm there myself, 99% of the time.
Yes.
My help is like my wife is a certified technician. She works with me, so
That's great.
we know people. The people knows us, and again, we're actually we live in Marlton, and we are
Part of the community.
part of the community. So we're involved in the community by every means.
So I should have known that before, but what we're talking about really essentially is a family business.
Yes.
A family business that is a part of the community and just wants to help. It's not a situation that you need to feel uncomfortable about going and talking to Ed. Like I said, he's one of the easiest people to talk to. Like, just sat down and we
Right.
just started
He's your
talking.
neighbor.
Yeah.
He's your
So
neighbor.
I want to mention one quick thing, and then I want to throw it to Charlene to get into a little bit of the technical side of the pharmacy world. But you just told us a story off camera, which I think is amazing. You have a patient who's very elderly, 91 years old.
Yes.
And why don't you tell us a little bit about the rest of your day today?
Okay. So this patient, she's been with us for like a couple of months now, and recently she started getting so much confused about her medication, what she should be taking, what she should not be taking,
When
the
she should be
doses,
taking
Very
it,
common.
right.
Very
so on
common
and so
problem.
forth. And we provide a certain service at the pharmacy, which is the medication packaging or the med pack.
So what is that?
This is pretty much we organize on behalf of the patient based on his or her prescriptions. We organize it on the daily dosage from the morning all the way to bedtime.
Wow.
So
that's
there is no
amazing.
confusion.
Wait a second.
Yes.
So you'll actually separate the prescriptions
Yes.
so that the patient doesn't have to do that on their
Yes.
own.
They don't have to do it on their own.
And that's a free service?
We charge a very minimal price for it.
It's a part
the
of
charge,
Right.
right.
Because the packaging is an extra charge.
Right.
So we, unfortunately,
Of course.
And speaking of the packaging, even though I'm not elderly, I find that sometimes it's hard to even get the caps off of those medicine,
True.
medicine vials.
True. So when you think
Yeah.
about like somebody
They can't even open them.
89
Yeah.
or 91 years old
Right.
and having a hard time to figure
Even
out
open
when
it, and then when to
or
take
when to
it,
take
or
it,
what it
and
is.
it's
Yeah.
a lot of tablets. Sometimes the tablets look the same.
Yes.
You know, they're
Oh,
all
yes.
white or they're all, you know what I mean. So we told her about this service and she said, okay, I want to do it. So we picked up the prescriptions from her, and we were reviewing it and said, okay, there's something wrong. She's not taking her medication on a regular basis. So I called her back and I said, you know what, I will stop by at your house, go over the prescriptions. She cannot come to the pharmacy. And part of our service was like we provide free delivery and so on for the medications or the prescriptions.
Right.
So I thought, well, as long as if we're doing the delivery, I'll go myself,
Right.
go over the prescriptions with her, tell her what to take, when to take it, and to find out, to help her to be more organized about the prescription, and the confusion would be taken out.
The
Doesn't-
personal touch
yeah.
and the level of care that you won't get anywhere else. Fantastic. I love that. That is such, you know, for people out there that have elderly parents that are dealing with this type of situation, it's really easy to go talk to Ed at medsNmore in Marlton and figure out what you got to do. And you're doing a lot more over there, and I want Charlene
Yeah.
to talk about that
So
a
I
little
know
bit.
that you also mentioned that you're a compounding pharmacy, and
Yes.
there aren't many pharmacies that do that anymore. Can you talk a little bit about compounding and what it is?
Sure. There's again misconception about compounding.
Right.
So what is compounding? Compounding, pretty much compounding is one of the cornerstones in the pharmacy profession. As a pharmacist, like when we go through our schools, the first thing we learn how to make a compound, how to create the medication, and it's compounding is a very important tool to overcome some obstacles that we might face. I'll take an example. Part of what we were talking about before, the patient on a blood thinner, and he needs something to take the inflammation or the pain away.
Right.
It's a local application that we can use, so we can compound it, so he's not ingesting the what we call the non-inflammatory or non-steroidal anti-inflammatory medication. We can make it in a compound, in a cream that can be applied. So we're decreasing the risk of the drug-drug interaction.
Right.
We're providing the patient with a relief
Like a topical.
from topical
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. Some people would say, okay, we can use over the counter. Yeah, you can, but not. They won't have the effectiveness as
Right.
the
It
ones
won't
that
work
is
as
Yeah,
well.
you're
Yeah.
tailoring
Yes.
it specifically to their ailment and their needs.
Very true. And
Yeah.
some other conditions, like we have a kid of 5 years old or 6 years old, he cannot take a tablet or swallow the medication
That's
as
true.
is, or the medications needed for this age is not readily available. We have to tailor it, like we have to make the dosage suitable to the age. So in simple way, compounding is a way to solve problems that cannot be solved with
Over the counter.
over-the-counter
Right.
or the readily available medication.
So I know my mom has very sensitive skin, so she has a lotion,
Yes.
dry skin lotion compounded for her.
Yes.
And I actually years ago had a cat, this is funny,
Yeah.
that suffered from asthma.
Yeah.
And I had a tuna flavored compound
Yes.
cough syrup made for this cat.
We do
Honest
this,
to God,
this
I did
as well.
that.
Yes, we do this as well. Like we have.
Stop laughing. It's true.
It's true.
It's true, I did.
Well, part of what we provide the service to our patients, most of our patients have pets.
Mhm.
So to come to our pharmacy to take their medication and go to another pharmacy or to go somewhere else to pay more money for their pet medications, whether
Right.
it's compounded or not, or available,
Mhm.
readily available. So we went into doing this
Pet
service.
medicine too.
Pet medicine. We can provide pet
See?
medicine.
What did I do?
Well, you're laughing at me.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. It's another service that
Yeah,
you guys
another
provide.
service.
Yeah, and it's part of the compounding part that we are able to do medication flavored with beef, flavored
Right.
with chicken, with tuna, depending on the type of your pet and so on. But again, I'm very passionate about compounding because it's really
It's great.
a way to solve a problem
Right.
for a patient or for a pet, like for somebody you care about, through a way that is not available at any place. Like if you went to a chain, I used to work for a chain.
Mhm.
Right.
I would get the prescription for a specific compound and say, oh no, we cannot do it, you have to go somewhere else.
Mhm.
When you're going to medsNmore pharmacy, whatever the type of your prescription, we will be able to help you through
Right.
it.
That's awesome. So we got to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get a little bit more into the
Services. some
the
of
service
services.
side of things at medsNmore, and then we're gonna make sure that you guys get down there and go check them out. So we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back on Morning Coffee on the Radio Vision.
Extra Innings is the nation's premier indoor baseball and softball training center, featuring indoor batting cages, 7 multi-use tunnels, and training rooms. Extra Innings can provide professional instruction, private and group lessons, and the best year-round clinics. Along with a nationally recognized pro shop that features the latest and widest selection of equipment and apparel, our experienced staff can provide you with the right instruction and help you find the best equipment for your ability and budget. Extra Innings, where the game never ends.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to make a really great sub, this is what we do. It's what we've been doing. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do. So what are you doing? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.
My co-host Mark Cook, and we're here with Ed from medsNmore, and we've just been having a very interesting conversation about compounding, which you can't find at the big box stores, but at medsNmore you can. But I do have another question for you, Ed. Do you offer immunizations? Because I know that's pretty big now, too, for families to go in, and even the elderly to go in and maybe get a shingles vaccination.
Is that shingles, flu shots,
yeah,
stuff
all
like that?
Stuff.
Yeah.
So do you offer those?
Yes, I am a certified immunizer.
Okay.
And the pharmacist that helps me every now and then, also a certified immunizer. We offer all types of immunization or vaccines, which is approved for the pharmacy to provide. There are some that is restricted for age concerns or based on the board requirements and so on, but we offer shingles, we offer flu vaccine, we offer pneumonia vaccine. We can go over all your needs in vaccination if you're missing something that needs to be taken and so on and so forth. Again, and this is again one of the misconceptions. Sometimes you think small pharmacy, independent pharmacy, they are limited in what they provide.
Right.
So let's go to the big chain pharmacies. Actually, we provide more than what a chain pharmacy can provide, whether in services like immunization or vaccination, like compounding, the medication packaging or special medication packaging, And one time
Delivery.
I had
You mentioned delivery.
free delivery, and consultation. We had one time I had one of the patients that was just checking out the pharmacy the first time, and he was asking, "Oh, so you carry the same medications as the big chains?" I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
we
I'm
are
a
a pharmacy."
pharmacy.
Yeah.
Right.
So we carry all the types of medication, even specialty medications. If the insurance approves to be dispensed, we are able to carry it. So pretty much we provide all types of services that you would think or would be in need for at medsNmore Pharmacy.
Sounds great.
So I urge everyone to go check out Ed. Just go meet him. Just go meet somebody that lives and
That
works
cares.
in your community, that's nice to talk to, that is a nice person, and you just might create a new relationship and find a new pharmacy that is really going to service your needs. So I'm going to have Ed give all his information in 1 second, but I wanted to give out the website real quick. It's medsNmorepharmacy.com, and that's meds, the letter N, morepharmacy.com. So Ed, I want you to look right into camera 3 and invite everybody down to medsNmore Pharmacy and do your thing here.
Before I do the invitation, can I just say two things really quickly? First, we are a drop-off for Operation Yellow Ribbon, which sends
Okay.
care packages to our deployed
Yes. Very nice.
That's great.
brave men and women.
Mhm.
And the second thing is May 21st, we have something called Marlton Day. So
Right, that's right.
all small businesses in Marlton, including medsNmore Pharmacy, will be available on that day. It will be in Main Street. Come out, see the businesses that are from Marlton and work in Marlton. It will be a really great thing. And if you want to visit us at medsNmore Pharmacy, we are located on Route 70 in the same plaza where there is a gas station, 7-Eleven, and so on the borders with Medford. Our hours are 9 to 7, Monday through Friday, and Saturday we're open 10 to 4. We'd love to see you there.
Go check him out. That's Ed from medsNmore Pharmacy. Seriously, go check Ed out. What a nice person who knows his stuff.
That's right.
That's a killer combo. So we got to take a quick break here on Morning Coffee, and we will be right back on the Radio Vision Network.